We have Grand Maju Stun Blackwings. You know, the things that showed up for the top cut of this event are relatively interesting. I'm big 30% of you that have not smashed the ever-living crap out of that subscribe button. Smash it so you guys don't miss out more Oz content. I got sent the South Africa State Championship breakdown here. And, you know, this is actually pretty interesting. Sprite Melfi had 3 representatives in top 16, which is pretty cool. We had 2 copies of Runic Life Twin Sprite. That's honestly pretty standard at this point. 2 Kashtira, and then 2 branded Despia. Yeah. That's all the standard metagame. But down here in the What in the World section, as we're going to call it, we had Mech Knight Orcust. Don't know what that's doing there, but I like what I'm seeing. We have a Dark World player as well. A Super Heavy Samurai Sword Soul deck. We have Grand Maju Stun, Blackwings, Math Mech, and Bysteel Dragon Link. That's an amazing, diverse top 16. Like, by far, some of the craziest cool ideas that I think I've seen are actually floating in here. Now, for top 8, this is a little bit different of a story. Sprite Melfi had 2 representatives, and then we had 2 of our branded Despia pushing their way on into the top side of things. So a lot more of the metagame, a lot more relevant here. Then we have Runic Life Twin Sprite. So essentially 3 sprite variations taking the top cut. 1 Kashtira, 1 Bysteel Dragon Link. But the best part about all of this, our Mech Knight Orcust player held on into the top cut here, which is amazing. Of all like the standard metagame stuff, yeah, the meta is very strong top end heavy, but when you start to see the different option trees and the different variations and things that people are bringing to the table here in these different ideas, I think it's really cool just to see all of the different ideas that are able to function out here. Let's pass on over to those top deck lists. All right, 16th place down here is our Life Twin little sprite variation. This build is playing some turtles in here, which is good. All right, you got to be able to kaiju over things. Change of Heart Mind Control is also pretty cool. I like the fact that they are trying to access these cards and enemy controller in here as well to kind of punish the opponent. Now, obviously, the biggest things with this deck are, you know, how much pressure you can put on the opponent, the best answers that you can try to find for the situations. And I think that this is one of the most interesting variations that I've seen out here. 15th place, Math Max. You do see we are playing Sakitama in here for the extension. I really do wish, you know, we had more than one of this good card. I also see that we are playing evenly matched in this deck, which aims to put this deck a little bit more ahead of the advantage race, which is kind of nice. I see we're playing books down here for defensive options as well, power of anti-scam fragrance as well. This is kind of interesting, just once again, seeing those different option trees. 14th place here, Blackwings. We are doing some rank up shenanigans, and yes, we are playing the Cosmol Dark Lady in here because you can bridge the gap for this, which is hilarious at the end of the day. Also, I mean, being able to actually see this card and be able to apply its effect is really good on pressuring the opponent. We also have Bysteals for interruptions. Everything for this deck feels pretty good. Ranking up into Kali King Yuga, absolutely what you want to see out here in terms of punishing the opponent. 13th place here, we have some Grand Maju shenanigans. Packing in those Fossil Dinos, the Vanities Fiends, Fairy Tale Lunas. This is everything like Grand Maju is about. You know, being able to pressure your opponent, take advantage of the game, and laugh all the way to the bank. I also like the fact that Draco Knight, a quest down here, is in fact a living, breathing super poly target for this deck. So incredibly cool to see this. Like, I like what I'm seeing here. This is really cool. As we shift on up here, we have Kashtira. Not everything can be exciting down here in the world of Kashtira, but we are playing Planet Pathfinder, which I think is a little bit of an interesting inclusion. This basically gives you a normal summon that you can toggle off and go ahead and do your thing with, because it's not like Kashtira really needs their normal summon at any point, right? Like, the deck just continues to spin on up, generate its advantage, and kind of calls it a day. And then, of course, you know, we have the mini targets down here that you can go ahead and slap underneath your Arise Heart and start doing things with. Next up here, We have our Sword Soul Super Heavy Samurai package. Keep in mind that the biggest things here is you're creating pendulum scales to kind of allow you to unload your hand and also, have access to some relatively strong monsters, and then also, be able to punish the opponent through that. It works out. It's very interesting to see, like, the inclusion of the package actually allowing you to have better uses of stepping stones, but it is kind of interesting, once again, to see what you can do here. Next up here, we have, Sprite Melfi with Evil Twin Infernal Prodigy. I mean, once again, this is a free level 2 that you can go ahead and special summon. It doesn't lock you into any disadvantage, and that's, like, the biggest reason why you do play this is for that. And then, of course, we have some anti-Kashtira hate down here as well. We also are playing the Gamma Burst to be able to OTK your opponent. And then, of course, board breakers to clean up the opponent's field. Looks pretty standard to me. And then, of course, we have Dark World down here. Unfortunately, Dark World kind of missing the mark here on the back end of things, but that's fine. Good old Ceruli control, pass on over to Silva, do some hand ripping. We're also citing 3 extra deck cards to be able to rotate in depending on the situation. We can also further board into some heavy aggression here with Ceruli. And yes, we are playing Dark World Punishment down here as a one of. So overall, it stinks that they missed the mark, but that's fine. Next up here, we're playing Fallen of Argios in our Melfi Sprite deck. This is actually kind of cool. The fact that this does give you another little free extension, actually, and a little bit of a form of disruption. Don't underestimate this little guy, alright? Fallen of Argios, we've seen it just a little bit at the beginning of the metagame, where, we started to see, this card come out into circulation. It kind of did disappear, but I think it is still an incredibly cool card to see. Next up here is Mech Knight Orcust. Wow. This is full Nightmare Corruptor Ibly, pass on over to your opponent and laugh all the way to the bank. This hasn't really changed all that much because, to be honest with you, the biggest thing with this is it's a lot of aggression around this card. The Mech Knight package generates a lot of advantage for you. And to be fair, if your opponent's not prepared for this matchup, or, with the amount of people that we saw cutting these previously, they're just going to get blown out of the water. So unprepared matchups are definitely going to be the best thing that you have. Next up here we have, oh boy, Kashtira. This build actually opted for the crossout designators here so that you can once again put that pressure on your opponent, being able to stop those key cards, Ash Blossom, other hand traps that really hurt your day. Also, we have good defensive options. This card really ruins your day too. As long as you can kind of patch up and do your thing, it's good. As you were also citing the amazing Nightmare Corruptor Ibly to pass it over to the opponent and laugh as well. Alright, next up here we have our Runic Sprite Live Twin. I feel like this has become such a staple in this version of the deck because you have your consistent engine here, draw power, and then the interruption package, and then this is just, hey, we got 3 slots in the deck. We can go ahead and play this aggressive package to go ahead and tear through our opponent if we hit the go second button. And trust me, the destruction effect of this, cleaning up your opponent's field, it's so good. It's one of the best things that you can see right now in the game. Alright, we have our next Sprite deck here. This is the Sprite Adventure package at this stage. Once again, you see the typical advantage engine here. You put up the token, you're like, alright, cool, I've got my negate, now what are you going to do? Once you establish this, you pretty much just start winning at this stage, because the Griffin negate, to make sure that your Sprite package can actually resolve, are going to be the main reasons why you see this package actually still seeing play in the Sprite deck. Shout out to the one of Dark World no more. Alright, what else we got here? Ooh, hey Sprite! Or excuse me, Fallen Valbaz. And it's everybody's favorite gimmick puppet package. I'm glad to see that they do have Albion down here. We are playing the Dragon Masquerade in the side deck for time. It's such a shame that this has been kicked to the side deck at this point for so much, just to kind of see, how much more ideas and things that people can bring to the table. Hello, Crossout Designator. Yep, this is one of the main reasons why you see this deck actually getting the chance to do well out here. So good stuff to this deck. And then we also have, oh boy, 2 branded Despia decks in the top half of this. Okay. Gotta love the fact, once again, handing this to your opponent laughing. So we play 1 Thrust, 1 Talents. That's an interesting spread. 1 Ability on the one of this. No Gold Sarcophagus in here. Siding the additional Bysteals. And then, of course, you can cheese the Dark Dragoon out and laugh at your opponent. But once again, everything here looks very, very standard. if you're going to try to play Duality, I guess, but I don't think it's that good. And then winning our event here was Durgan Link. Yay! No Chaos Emperor, of course, by Steel Package 2. Black Metal Dragons is a little bit interesting of a splash. Not too keen on that one, but I understand what they're trying to do here. It's put as much pressure and aggression on your opponent as possible. We have the make your field worthless card, and yeah, that looks pretty straightforward. So, what do you think about the breakdown for this event? Please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Peace. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.